Welcome back. The Ikeja axis of Lagos State, the mainland in Lagos, came to a standstill because of the protests of the labor unions over the increase in electricity bills. But before we continue with that story, we'd like to remind you that all our top stories, such as that one, can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We'd like to tell you to please interact with the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app. If you have pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. The Ikeja area of Lagos came to a standstill as organized labor and civil liberty organizations embarked on a protest march to resist the increase in electricity tariff. Our correspondent, Loretta Chiogo, who witnessed the protest, reports that authorities from Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company tried to defend their service delivery. Take a look.
Hundreds, the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have stormed the streets of Lagos to protest the increase in electricity tariff. They've called for more meters to be available to Nigerians and more supply of power before they can log on to the plan of the minister. The protest march kicks off from Ikeja bus stop down to Ikeja Electric.
The point cannot be overstated. Power, energy is so strategic to the industrialization and the well-being of the people. Therefore, the federal government must urgently review the privatization contract between it and Gencos and Disco.
The National Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, had announced an increase in electricity tariff, and this has been widely defended by the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Pt.2 Fashola. The electricity regulatory body believes the regime of monthly fixed and outrageous charges would be a thing of the past with the introduction of a new billing system. This would allow consumers pay only for the electricity supply consumed. For instance, residential customers in Eko and Ikeja electricity distribution areas will no longer pay 750 naira fixed charges. Mr. Ikeja, the Chief Financial Officer, Ikeja Electric, tries to convince the labor union, but meets a brick wall.
If you move around our district today, we have documented on record because we have more than 50 installation companies working for us. As of today, we are installing an average of 11,000 meters a month. Yes. Across the I'm talking of my disco. I'm talking of Ikeja disco.
What I'm saying is that it's okay, we agree with you that you have the list, but is it represented in true fact that all these meters are in homes?
I'm telling you, they are all in homes.
Can you tell us the ones you remember? Which area?
I said across the entire district.
Where particularly?
General statement. All I'm telling you,
at least you can
across our district, all the way from Ejiko, Akwa-Onjo, part of Ikorodu, we are mixing in every location across the district.
The union insists on a reversal of the directive with a vow to continue more protests.
And now we'll be speaking with a senior member of the Nigeria Labour Congress on this issue, Mr. Ikeja Osuguni, who is the Vice President of the Nigeria Labour Congress. Welcome to News Across Nigeria.
Thank you.
How far are you prepared to go in these protests to drive home your message of disagreeing with this protest, with this hike in tariff?
I think we are already there, and then the message is very clear, even as we speak. Eventually, we've been able to deliver the message of the one-day picketing. We have done this nationwide with the intention that federal government will understand the clear handwriting, because eventually, we're not just doing this for fun. We're doing this believing that the interests of Nigerians should be protected. Eventually, the hike on its own is illegal, is unjustified, unsatisfied, and eventually unacceptable. And we all know that it's a breach of the MOU, which was reached in November 1st, 2013. They signed this MOU with the intention that within 18 months, consumers will be metered. And eventually, if there are issues that has to do with policy, with regard to reform or review, stakeholders under the section 76 of that reform electricity of 2005. Eventually, they didn't follow it. Nobody was consulted, and they just imposed a policy of increase, thinking that that is a way to generate revenue.
Let me jump in here. One of the officials of the co-distribution company has been speaking on our television's platform that it's because of the challenge in metering a nation as vast as Nigeria, saying that in a long time that was not done. How can it be done in 18 months? What is your view on that?
If he has said so, that is already, they should already withdraw from him. The license is already suffering in his hand because that is a total surrounding to failure. No, if that means in 50 years he will not deliver. That statement stands to testify against him. Because eventually the MOU was not imposed to any of them. They agreed, they concurred, and they gave their consent to the agreement that within 18 months they will provide. And those were the indices that gave consent to the MOU. So if actually they knew that 100 years was not achievable, how come they agreed for 18 months? And somebody is now saying that it cannot be done in 1 day. 18 months is never defined as 1 day in any dictionary. So for me, it's unacceptable. Even such statement is more or less like trying to play on our intelligence.
One of the intents and aims of privatization of the power sector, which is subsisting now, is for more efficient service delivery. In the case where the unbundling to these discos has come up with the different challenges that it has, do you not think that they have a case as far as wanting to make ends meet so they can also pay their bills?
No, there's no case in this case, because the case that exists now is that there is no meter for the people. We gave instance that can any of them, even the man that spoke, that the ECO managing director or the disco there, if himself could just enter any of the police station and then they just sell fuel to him without him having evidence from the meter, and somebody just tell you that your money is 10,000, will he pay? Certainly he will not pay. So what our demand is very clear. Give us that meter. Then there should be a proportionate increase that corresponds with that service that you provide.
What is the your view on the court court order?
That is another abuse on judiciary.
That prevented the Nigeria Electricity Regulation Commission from increasing the tariffs.
Yes, I remember clearly.
Yes.
Pt.2 was last year, May 2015.
Yes.
And then eventually, up till now, it's still standing. But you can imagine a son like Fashola, who should already guide against violation of any court order, is now the driver to do so.
Do you think the Minister of Power is in
He's aware.
Is in the know of this?
He should.
Or if he's not in the know, he's the driver of this? Do you think?
Of course, it's very clear to the Nigerians that he is the one driving it, and he has come out to tell us that this process should be allowed that within the next 2-3 years. How can you announce that my suffering will last for 3 years? What do you have to tell me that in the next 3 years I should even expect more? Because if you are saying in 2-3 years, 4 years, that is when it will drop. Eventually, you have just introduced a outrageous increase of 45 increase. When has Nigeria government advocated increase of that nature for the benefit of Nigerians?
The experts in the discourse are saying that it's an increase because of the other factors, from the generation to transmission to distribution, etc. So it's not, and that is why it has to be paid for. Do you think they're just putting the shoe on the other foot?
They are
or they're trying to make it work, and this is the only way they know how?
No, the question you and I should ask them, because most of the things they're saying now has been analyzed before the agreement was signed. So if there are challenges, have they come to the table to actually address the challenges? So how come they arrive at the policy of increase if actually they know they had issues? Meaning that they want to transfer the burden to Nigerians. Nigerians will resist because, when you are weak, eventually you think of shortcut. And the best way is just increase B without service. If you want to earn more money, more tariff, increase the service that you may earn more money. Many people have cut off power. There are institutions There are industries, they don't rely on Nigeria power because it's actually not reliable. So eventually, people now rely on their self-generating service. And you should not make electricity service to be more expensive than generator. Otherwise, it's useless. What are you talking about? Don't forget, this product is supposed to be government product, the cheapest for that matter.
A final word from you. What is the next step for the Nigeria Labour Congress and the labor unions?
The next step is we hope, we pray even, that federal government should see reason to this picketing and eventually reverse that which has been rolled out, believing that the best way to do so is to discuss with the stakeholders.
And if they do not?
If they don't, the organ of Nigeria Labour Congress and TUC will immediately meet even with the civil society group to ensure that we engage in more extended action in order to drive home this demand. For sure, there's no going back. NSC will do the needful, we engage all necessary and available strength to ensure that this is achieved.
Thank you,
it's for
sir.
the interest of Nigerians. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on News Across Nigeria. Mr. Amechi Asuguni, he's the Vice President of the Nigeria Labour Congress. Coming up on the program, the Governor of Delta State signs a health bill into law. Don't go away.